Hi guys, very good afternoon to all of you. Welcome to the video number 439, and in this video, as you can see, today we are going to talk about the pivot, right? And I'm going to actually talk about the offset function, with the help of which you can make your pivots quite dynamic, which means that the data which pivot uses, if it is going to shrink or if it is going to expand, then how, with the help of the offset function, you can make it dynamic. How you can make sure that if you're using the offset function, then that is going to be, that is going to actually speak with the pivot, and your data, if changes, then pivot automatically changes the data. It automatically captures the data, right? If you are using 100 rows and you have made the pivot on the 100 rows, then tomorrow if 10 rows more gets added, then using the offset function, how you can make sure that the 110 rows are going to be a part of that pivot, right? You just need to refresh it. And same goes for the shrinking part. If from the 100 rows the pivot is, let's say, the data is reduced but to 50 rows, then how how this offset is going to actually make sure that the pivot now is going to use the 50 rows instead of the 100 rows, right? So welcome to the channel. My channel name is Ajay Kumar Parmar. You can see that youtube.com/c/Ajay Kumar Parmar, and you would find here 439 videos on Excel, Excel VBA, MS Access, and Access VBA. Right now, what you need to do is, if you just joined this channel, I want to tell you that you need to, on my front page, when you subscribe to the channel, click on the playlist. This is the playlist, you can see that, and once you click on the playlist, guys, these are all the playlists which you can see in front of you. We have the videos on Excel VBA user forms, we have the videos on Excel VBA connecting Outlook from Excel, and then there are so many other playlists as well. So just scroll it down and you would get to see here lot of different the playlists, right? So I think there are 45 playlists, and going by the title you would understand what actually this playlist is going to talk about. Now guys, two things which you should notice. First of all, yes, because you guys have been asking me a lot how to start the learning. So these are all the playlists which I have created for you. Look at these, all the playlist, and start your learning in this sequence. This is for the Excel VBA, this is for the Excel, Access Frontend, and Access VBA. Now, in order to understand this video, I want to first of all make it clear that we are not here to talk about the basics. Okay, though I will definitely give you as much, the introduction about the offset function which we are going to use, but still, if you really want to get the in-depth knowledge of the offset function, then what you can do is, in the Excel playlist, we have a, in this one of these playlists is Excel offset function. This is the one. Go there and watch first two videos. They are the basic videos, right? You will understand then offset in a better way, and then you maybe come back and see that video. Now you, if you don't have any idea about the pivots, no worries. What you can do is, you can go to the Excel charts in the pivots playlist and find out the videos there. There are, I think, 5-6 videos on the pivots as well, where I talked about how to create the pivots, right? So this is I mean, this is all the front page. You can see that this is the one, Excel charts and pivots. We have got 18 videos, guys, right? So go and click on that and see that how you can actually learn it. And then similarly, we have another playlist here, Excel offset, which I was talking about. If I can show you, I think I saw it somewhere. Yeah, this is the one, Excel offset function, right? So once you click on that, please go and watch the first two videos there. So let's come back to the today's topic, guys. So this is the data. I have prepared the dummy data for you. The first thing which I'm going to do is, I'm going to make the pivot. Okay, so how you make the pivot is very easy. I just go and insert the pivot table. I click on the pivot table, and what is my table range? Basically, I select my table range like this, for example, right? And then where do you want this data? So I want this data, let's say, on this sheet only, and I'm going to choose this G4, which is this cell, right? If you want to do any changes, you want to go to the new sheet, you can click on the new worksheet as well, and a new sheet will be inserted by Excel itself. But anyways, I keep it G4, I press OK, and this is where the data comes. And now what I'm going to do is, let's say I'm going to simply keep the year here and keep the company here, and I'm going to put the business here. That's my basically the pivot, right? A very simple actually pivot. Right now, the thing is that if tomorrow you have them, as I was talking about, if you let's say have one more year, for example, this is the year, and there is let's say one more, we can, let's say, add the new the company here as well. So I'm going to make it, let's say, H, and then we're going to make it, let's say, 220 this, you know, let's say this is the business which is done. Let me just give it a formatting. Now guys, it's very simple that if this row is added, if you just go and right click and, you know, refresh it, the data is not going to capture. And the reason very simple, because when you go to this analyze option here, change source data, or you can also use the Alt DP, right? Alt DP is the shortcut key to get to the data, right? So if I press here Alt DP, this is what you get to see, and you can use the back, and, you know, this will take you to the data source. Now here you can see that this is the highlighted data, which is from A1 to C16. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make this A1 to C17, and I just go and click on the finish. So every time I have to do this, now you see that the moment I did that, it's going to actually expand the data. You know, the data is going to refresh, and you have a new company here which is coming. Now this is what we actually are talking about, that how to use the offset function to make sure that this is going to be on the auto mode, right? There's another way as well. You can also make this table, you know, as a, you know, you can convert this database basically into the Excel table, but that's an option which I'm not going to talk about in this video. I'm specifically targeting the offset function, right? So how to do this? Now in order to do that, you know, basically what we will have to do is I'm just going to first of all, you know, this copy this paste value, this Alt is a shortcut key, and let's first get rid of it. I'm just going to delete this. Okay, now guys, let's come back to the first of all the offset function. So in the offset function you have basically 5 parameters: 1 2 3 4 5 reference point, row, column, and height and width. Reference point basically is a point which is the starting, the beginning point. For example, if I say that this is my 20 and this is I write here, so let's say some numbers. Let me just track this, right? Now what happens, what I want to do is, using the offset function, I want to create this table. I want to create a table which should actually, you know, take all these values in its range, in its reference, right? So when you write the offset function like this, if you look at the offset function, you have the reference, row, column, height, and width, and these are all the parameters which I have written here. So what do you mean by the reference point? Now guys, the reference point actually refers to a point which is going to be the beginning of the table, right? Now it can be from anywhere, but that depends upon the target. Now in this particular case, this is basically you know, this is going to be my reference point, which is 20, right? So because why 20? Because I want the table should start from 20, and then from the 20 we need to see that how many basically you know, the rows I need and the width I need. So reference point, if it is going to be 20, then what happens to actually, when you say that I want to start from 20, you know, reference point basically is a beginning point, which means let's start a journey from here. Now when you want to start your journey from 20, first of all you want to find it out a place where you actually go and stop, and from there you're going to decide that how many rows and the columns I'm going to cover. So I want to start from 20, and I want to actually, you know, place my cursor on 20. So in order to, you know, go to that 20 cell, this is where we use the row and the column. So reference point, if it is going to be G5, because in this particular situation we have a G5, right? So if this is going to be your G5, if this is going to be your G5, then from the G5 I want to start my table. So first you need to stop in the, you know, G5 cell. So when you want to stop to the G5 cell, you need to see that basically how many rows you're moving. Okay, how many rows you are supposed to move from G5 in order to come to the 20. So if I'm already on the G5, then that means that basically I don't have to move anywhere. So this row is going to be 0 and this column is going to be 0, because these are basically called the directions. They give the directions, right? Now I'm saying that I got to be on the G5 and we don't have to move anywhere. 0 and 0. If I say that I am on G5, which is my reference point, and I want the row to be 1 and I want the column to be 1, let's say. So what do you mean by that? So when the reference is going to be taken as G5, then the row would be 1, which means that 0 and 1, and then the column is 1, which means the current selection, you know, is going to have a 0 column, and you're going to move in this direction, right? So your cell would come here. So that means from this reference point you actually moved here. one row down and one column to the right side. Now if you're wondering that why the right side, why not the left side, well, that's all up to you. If you just write here -1, then what will happen, this if you're starting from G5, then one row down and then -1 means that right to left, so your cursor would come here. So these are all the directions, right? So we use this row to give the direction, to give direction from your reference point. Remember that, right? And this is also to give the direction. The only thing is that the rows are always in the downward direction or upward direction, and the column is going to either left to right in this way, or in the reverse direction in this way, right? So this is how actually we use the directional point. Now let's come to the height. Now, so as I said that that if I have to start from 20, then we need to cover this all the the rows to make this table. So this is where this height parameter actually comes. So height parameter is simply nothing but it is actually number of rows, and similarly the width is actually the number of columns. Now in this case, if you look at this, now this table actually holds only one column, so I'm going to use only one in the column, and the number of rows would be, this is 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13, sort of that. So you will have the 13 rows and you will have the one column. That's going to make the offset function, right? Now, so how I'm going to use this, so if you just write here quickly offset function, let me tell you what is the reference. The reference is this. What is the row and the column? So row and the column are used to give the directions. Directions means that from the 22, first of all, where you actually want to start, right? I want to be on the 20 itself, so I write here 0 0, you press enter and you are on the 20, which means now from 20 I'm going to make the table. So what is the height? Well, the height is going to be, as I said, that if you write here 13, that means from the 20 it is going to take the 13 rows, including this row as well, right? And the difference between height and the width, height, width and rows and column is, rows and columns, these first, second and third parameter always starts with 0, but the height and the width never starts with 0, they always starts with the 1. So I can't write here that for example, I can't write in the width as 0. 0 means nothing, right? So my table has one column, so I will write here 1, right? So Control Shift Enter. You're supposed to enter the Control Shift enter. Don't press actually only the enter, because there are so many cells we are going to use in this single formula, and so this is more of a going to be used as an array. So this is your offset function, guys, which has captured the entire data. Right now, the thing is that when you come back to this table, now here how you be going to deal with this, because I want to form the data. I want to form the data. I want to cover all these the values, including the headers, in the offset function. So what I will do is I will write here offset, and then you start the reference, because I want to start from A1. First of all, I make sure that I should be on the A1. I mean, the value should, whatever the value I will get from the offset, it should be the value of the A1. So if you're starting from A1, this is what you're going to write. A1 comma 0 comma 0, which means I don't want to give any movement to the row or the column. Now it doesn't mean that it's always mandatory to start from A1. You can start from, let's say, B1 as well, but I think that's not going to make any sense, because if you keep your cursor on the A1, it's very simple, just write comma 0 comma 0. But if you're going to make this B1 comma 0 comma 0, this is going to give you the company, because from the B1 you're saying no movement, but I want to actually start my table from this A1 cell. So to go to the year, what you need to do is you basically need to say here -1. From the B1 I need to move one column to the right side. So when I press enter, guys, this is how I get to see the year. So I mean, this way also it is fine. Offset really doesn't have any problem, as long as you're giving the the correct directions. So so this is what we have done so far. So I'm just going to make this A1 and 0. Now what is the next thing I want to do? Now next thing is that I want to capture all the these rows. Now I can write here 16. Why 16? Because offset starts with sorry, not 16 but 17, because in the height, if I have to include all these rows, I will have to write 17, because I have got 17 rows including the header. But guys, the point is, next time when the table expands, this 17 is not going to work. So you have to make the formula dynamic. So that is why what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to use here a formula called count A is to A. This is going to return me all the the values which are coming in this. Maybe in the future also, if we add some more values. The width, now how are you going to decide the width? Well, I know that the width is 3. Generally table, when you modify the tables, most of the time the table never actually expands, column wise. They generally expands in the downward direction. The more and more data comes in the in the rows, but columns generally remain same. But still, if you want to make sure that even if the column exceeds, then I should be able to use that. So what you can do is you can write here count as well, count A, and then simply you can write here, you select this one row like this, the complete row, and now I can press Control Shift Enter. Control Shift Enter. Let me just put this here so that it should not be counted in this, because when you're going to use the count A, this entire row, this should return you 3. Okay, so if you go to the formula tab and if you see that how it is working, let me show you. First of all, look at this count A is to A. This is going to return 17, and then the count A 1 is to 1, which is my row number. So guys, this is your function offset from the A1. Let us not move any row column, let us be on the year, and from A and from the year let's have 17 rows and 3 columns. So this is how it is going to work, right? So if I click on the evaluate, let me show you the output. I'm just going to use the F9. Look at this, guys, the table is in front of you. This entire table is in front of you, right? So this is the table which I'm going to actually use in the pivot. Now what you're supposed to do is, before you do that, make sure that it should have the dollar signs. This is very important. Because what I'm going to do is, let me put the dollars first, and let's just remove the equals to, because this is just to explain you. Now what you will do is, you will copy this function and you will create a name manager. You go to the formula and you click on the name manager and you refer here any name you can define. For example, I write here Ajay, and then this refers to my offset function, so I write here equals to this function, right? And I press OK. Once you press OK, click here and let's see that if the table is getting highlighted or not, and you can see that the table is getting highlighted. So what do you mean by that? So name managers are very powerful. Basically you define some names in the Excel, and it's a more of a like tables, guys. I can refer table 1, table 2, table 3 to different sheets within the workbook, and having the different ranges, A1 to A10, A1 to Q10, or whatever it is. In this function, what I'm saying that now from now onwards in this Excel, Ajay is going to be not considered as text. It is going to be considered as a table. Which table? Well, that depends what the offset is doing here, right? So this is the offset and this is what it is going to capture. Now I'll tell you the benefit of this. Now when I insert any other data, for example 19, let's say 88, and I just go ahead and add one more company, maybe let's say GH company, and then I write here something 110, for example. Let me just use this paste special in the format. Okay, now if you go back to this name manager and if you click on this Ajay, let me click here, let me show you. Look at this, guys, amazing. The table is completely highlighted. 1988 is automatically included. That's what the magic is all about. Now if you just go and delete this, you go back to the formula, you click on the name manager, and let's click here. Look at this, guys. This is the table which is now selected. So automatically, or actually this offset is resizing the table, because of the reason that you talked about here. You put the function here count A, which is very dynamic. Now the count A in the A is to A is going to count the items and it is going to return 10. So that means offset is going to pick up the height as 10, and this is what exactly we are going to do here. Now let's go quickly and insert the table. So I'm going to insert the table. Let's go to the insert, and we are done with this now. Pivot. What is the table range? Well, the table range, you know what is the table range, right? The table range is Ajay. Right now Ajay is actually your range. It's a range which is given in the Excel, because if you press equals to, you see that it's actually coming. So don't treat this as a text. This is a complete table, and that's what we are going to do, because pivot table always uses the table, right? The data, so the data is going to come from this Ajay, which is a name manager, and this refers to, we know that we have used the offset function. What is the location? Well, I keep the location same, let's say or maybe here I select this cell. First of all, let's backspace everything, and I just write here maybe here, right? And I say that okay, there we go, we got this everything. I write here year, I write here company, or maybe I can put the year here, that's okay, and I can put the business here. Right now, guys, this is your table, right? And of course, because we are talking about the pivot, so maybe you can go and design the pivot. You can choose all these different templates. Maybe I just use this template, right? This is how it is. Now let's go and do the real testing. So what I'm going to do is, if you look at this A, this is how the it's coming, the grand total. So if I just go and let's say I add some more years, 2009 to let's say 2010, 11, 12, and I just write here, let's say maybe a new company, or the previous company as well, whatever I mean suits you, you would find the changes there. So I just go and delete this. Let me delete this. There we go. And the moment I now refresh the table, let's see if we are going to capture the H company, which is a new company. There we go. Look at this, guys. H and G, they are a part of this. So basically the two companies I added, and your pivot automatically, you know, expanded. This is how the pivot is all about. If you go back to your this Alt DP, if you use the Alt DP, or maybe you go to the analyze and you click on the change data source, if you click here and you just, you know, you look at this is the table range Ajay, which is this range, you know. Look at these marching ants, right? They are telling you the entire story. Awesome. So if you further go and do some more changes, for example, I have some more you know, numbers over here, you know, in this way, let's say, and I just go and further maybe let's say I add some more years. Now if I go and I just refresh the table, that's how you see that the table is expanded. We have got more years here, right? Now similarly, if you add a header, for example, I'm going to add a header, and the header is, let's say I'm going to add here business, and then let's say loss, maybe anything, right? So what I do is I just write -10 from it, and so this is what, let's say I have done it in front of you. So I modified the table across columns as well. Now let's see if the table is going to do this stuff for us or not, right? Right now, if I just go to the field list, right click and field list, you can see that I have got only 3 headers: year, company, and business, which actually is correct, right? Because this is what I chose when I started the pivot. Now I'm going to refresh it, and let's see what's going to happen. Look at this. I refresh the table. Now let's go to the show field list, and let's see. Look at this, guys. The loss automatically, you know, is popping up. So now you can put the loss here if you just want it, right? But this is how the table gets refreshed, guys, and this is your super dynamic offset function, right? So if you go back to this Alt DP, if you use the Alt DP to check how it is working, now let me show you. If I just click on the back and I select this, you see that now your table selects this entire thing. So you have everything here. This loss table is automatically covered by offset. Because of this reason, count A $1 is to $1, because count A is going to count in the entire this row 1 that how many items I have, and you will get here 4. So that is going to be used in the offset width parameter, this width parameter, which says how many columns you needed, right? So I hope you enjoy, you will definitely enjoy this video, and I will wait for your comments. Thank you so much, and do subscribe to the channel. I will be back with some another exciting stuff. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye bye.